Well, hello everyone. We are back with another episode of Rebecca, and I'm Rebecca Reed from rural Indiana, and my partner in books, Rebecca Yager from Dallas, Texas. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello and happy New Year. Can you believe it's 2026 already?
No, it's hard to believe, and this is, our fifth season on the air. This is craziness. Um,
They said it
we're
never lasts.
but hey, this is one of our favorite days because we have an author to talk to, and it is none other than the lovely and amazing Pepper Basham. Welcome, Pepper.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such a wonderful thing to get to be with you guys again.
Well, we are so glad you were able to join us, and we're starting the year off right. We mentioned this a little before we got on here today, but it's Scotland Day, so we're going to Scotland, one of my favorite places. I know it's one of Pepper's favorite places as well,
For sure.
and so we're gonna talk about Some Like It Scot, which is the best title ever.
I love it so much. All all kudos go to the Thomas Nelson team on that title.
Well, they did a great job. Definitely. I saw that and I'm like, oh
Whoa.
man. Yeah, it was fantastic. But anyway, we are, like I said, we're glad to have you here and we're so excited to talk about this book. I will say this book was one of my favorite books of 2025.
Yeah,
My
one of
favorites.
my favorite books of 2025 too. Can I say that? Is that okay?
It's okay. We won't tell any of the others. It'll be okay.
That's right. That's right. Don't share with the other characters.
No. But so as you all know, I'm the audiobook queen here. And this book, I have to say, you have to listen to this book. You have to listen to this book. I mean, these guys knocked it out of the park on this one. It is just fantastic, and you get all that Scottish brogue and all those words that you look at when you read them in print, and you're like, how do you say that thing? But you get to hear it. It's fantastic. So anyway,
And
kudos
I
to that.
and I really think both voice actors did an amazing job for very different reasons. Of course, we got the Scottish accent from the guy, which is phenomenal. But the female voice actress, the way she showed emotion through her voice was just spectacular.
Mhm.
And there's a particular scene with Lachlan, the little boy in the book, that she just really brought out the emotion in that so well, and I was gripped by, and I knew what was happening, but it was just still so well done.
You're right. I was very impressed with both of them, and this female character too. Katie Campbell. She has a very particular sense of humor about her too, and I thought the actress did a fantastic job of just really just bringing that out and making it feel so natural and so perfect for this character. So yeah, they did a great job. So.
Yeah,
We'll let
no,
you have a word in here if you'd like.
it's okay. Y'all are doing great. Because I don't listen to audio, I read it. And I read the words and they were fabulous. And I'm in my head going Scottish, but I guess I should listen to it just to get the brogue right from Graham and stuff. But I just love when you say her name, Katie Campbell, because he says Katie Campbell. It's always first and last name
Yes.
in the
Especially
book.
Lachlan, it makes me so happy because I can just hear him when I was writing it. I could just hear his little voice going, "Katie Campbell," and I'm like, ah, I love you.
Yes.
And you're creating these characters and you go, yes, but I love you. They're so alive, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
very much.
So you went to Scotland, didn't you? Did
Yeah,
you?
I've been to Scotland three times now, I think. The first time though was a very quick. We were only in and out of Edinburgh for like 2 days, and
Hmm.
but the next two times were longer. Especially the trip I went with Laura Franz, and we got to spend so much time in Scotland and around, outside of the cities in the more rural areas, which is my favorite parts of Scotland. And that's where I got the idea of putting Some Like It Scot on the Isle of Mull, because I'd never been there before and I was wanting a place that had its own kind of microculture within Scotland. And when we went to the Isle of Mull, there was something about it that just kind of gripped me from the time we got off the ferry onto this island. And I was like, okay, this is where it needs to be. This is where the story's going to be. And so that was so wonderful, because while I was there, I was trying to soak in the atmosphere, soak in the terrain is very interesting. And so, yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, you did a great job of capturing it. I mean, I could see it, I felt like I was walking right with her and, up and down the hill and, all of the things and falling into the lock and, all of that. So, yes, it was very good. I just And I've been to Scotland as well, but I've not been to the Isle of Mull, but it made me want to go there for sure. So next trip, I'm headed
Hey,
to the Isle of Mull.
there you go.
Um,
I'm ready to
yeah.
go back and tour the Highlands some more. I've only made it to
hmm
Inverness, and I would like to stay around Inverness and go a little more north. Yeah.
Me too. Same.
Yeah.
I definitely would love to do something exactly like that. Like just camp out in a little Airbnb around Inverness and just drive all around and see all of that. That would be excellent. Yes. Perfect. So, yeah.
Um, I admire authors who can write with a touch of humor. I think I'm funny, but I'm not a funny writer. So things like, Misadventure for her name of her column, Katie's column, and her nickname and how it just all ties together. How does your brain work?
Okay, you know as well as I do as a writer, you know as well as I do that I have to give credit far beyond my brain, because God will have things pop up in there that I'm like, that's awesome. Where did that come from? And I really don't know that I can take credit. I do know that I have a very funny family, and I have always had a pretty strong sense of humor. My dad was a really comical guy, and there's like subtle, rough humor. So that was fun. And I've been a big fan of sarcasm. So whenever I was and wordplay. I love wordplay. And so whenever I was going through the story, I didn't know she was going to be misadventure at first. And I'm sitting here thinking, she needs a profile name. She needs a profile name. Well, she's going on adventures and da da da. And all of a sudden I went, oh, misadventure. So it worked out beautifully. But I find that I naturally have to put humor in things. I was talking with another friend recently, and she was saying that my scenes that get serious, I'll put humor in at just the right time before it gets too deep into that more serious aspect. And it's not like I don't want to write serious things, because I do. And even in some Like It Scot, you guys are reading, there are serious discussions happening and deep wounds happening.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that element that God gave us laughter and joy, and there are things, sadness is, in a Christian life, sadness is couched within this awareness of a bigger beauty and a bigger purpose. And yes, even humor is in that, but I just really enjoy writing those lighter elements.
Love it. That's it. I wish
Yes.
I had that brain. Or okay,
I
God didn't give me that particular gene, I guess.
You have a very sweet gene, though, and that's very
yes.
nice.
Too
Yes, I agree. Yeah, she's a all about other people kind of
Mm-hmm.
person, and that's
Service is a
awesome.
beautiful thing. The servant
hmm
heart is Christ-like. We don't hear
Yes.
about Jesus having a sense of humor.
I mean,
But he probably
some of the
did.
things he says to the Pharisees are somewhat funny.
That kind of biting funny.
Yeah, yeah,
Although he did make some creatures that are awfully funny looking, so I think God has to have a sense of humor in there.
yeah, yeah. True enough. True
Makes
enough.
sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I don't want to veer away from this book, because I know we'll come back to it. But I want to say, Pepper, the last time we had you on, which is said we can't believe was 3 years ago, was for December 2022. Time went too fast with the mistletoe countess. which is historical, and you're one of the few authors, and I don't know how you get away with this. You have a following, but where you're able to write historical and write contemporary. You can't make up your mind. No, I'm just, but
Yeah, so why do I write both? Um, I interestingly enough, when I first started writing, I was writing in both because I just like stories, and it didn't matter where the stories took place or what time period. I mean, I have a paranormal, a speculative that was a finalist in the Genesis contest about vampires. So you see, I just like stories, and so what happened was when I first started getting published, I got two contracts around the same time, and one was for contemporary and one was for historical, and that's kind of set the trajectory of my writing career. Is that I'm so thankful. I am so thankful I get to do both because I feel as though there are aspects of creativity for me that shows up in one area for one genre and shows up in a different area for a different genre. I write some, you guys have read them as Socanas. It's a humorous book, but there's an element of it being set in historical time periods that gives it something that my contemporaries can't have. And so I just really like stories. And I guess I'm confused. We'll just say that. No, I'm creatively confused.
I don't think you're confused. I would
no,
not
not
call that
confused. No.
confusion. I call it brilliance
Oh,
because
whoa, a big
I
word there.
I think it's awesome. And personally, I'm a fan of writing more than one genre as well. So I think it's good.
Thank you.
Personally,
I'll take it.
yeah. And I think it's, I think as an author, we sometimes can be pigeonholed, and you get stuck in a place. So I think it's really, I mean, God probably knew get from the get-go, it's like, okay, Pepper can't be pigeonholed in this one spot, right? She's gonna go crazy. So he gave you both of those so that you would be able to bounce back and forth and have all those outlets for him to give you all those cool things that he gives you.
Well, and
So,
my reading interests and my movie interests are just as eclectic. So I like to watch and read so many different kinds of things, and my brain is always moving in story direction. So I'm so thankful. I really like that I get to write for two publishing houses too, because the Barber side is the side where the Mistletoe Camas comes from in my Appalachian books. It's where there's this more overt spiritual side that I can bring out in those stories, and I get to bring out in those stories, and that's important to me because I know the population I'm writing for who read Barber books, and they want that. They want that richer, deeper, more overt Christian theme. And then with Thomas Nelson, I get to have these books that I feel are more what C.S. Lewis would have called, kind of like the secret, covert side of getting to show Jesus through just everyday life of people making choices and living their lives, and how that shows up, like you get to see in some Like It Scot, in conversations, and how it makes a difference in the way we perceive our grief or perceive the world or treat other people. And it doesn't have to be as big and loud, nothing wrong with that, as it is in the Barber books, but you still see it, that Christian worldview coming through. And I love that I get to do it on both sides.
Well,
that's
it's the gift to the
fantastic.
reader. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The gift.
Thank you.
Well, we always love different side characters, and this book had so many just amazing
I'm still
side
here.
characters. Okay, good.
Oh, what happened to my camera? But I'm
we,
still.
we saw enough of
Uh,
your beautiful face.
yeah.
Well,
Wow. I don't know.
we'll keep
Sometimes
going though. You're
technology. It's
still
okay.
there.
Yeah. I was saying, we just love the side characters, and um, this book has a lot of them. And there you
Yeah.
are. Um, and we you mentioned Lachlan earlier, and he's for those of you who haven't read it yet, he's a younger character and he's awesome. Um, he just, he has that young person like, well, don't you understand kind of attitude, right? Like I don't understand why these grown-up people don't get it. And I
Adults
loved
are
that.
silly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of the mouths of babes, right? They just
Mm.
say what, you know.
But you
So.
also had, the native characters, we'll call them, right? The ladies in the town and the tea, what was that called?
Knitting, the little knitting
The
circle.
knitting, yes, the knitting circle. I was gonna say sewing, and I'm like, I don't think it was sewing. But
No,
anyway,
not really.
I read this book a really long time ago. I don't remember all the individual things, but
Me
I
either.
just remember this group of women who were just so interesting in each one, was so different and so interesting. But the little bookstore and how it all just kind of fit in there. So I don't know. It was just like I wanted to go there, sit down and have tea. Personally, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'll be there. Um, but we just love characters like that. But then there's the whole Edwardian experience.
Yes,
Mm.
crazy.
And that was a whole nother thing, that was just like, okay, there's a whole cast of characters in that group that are completely like different, from this little knitting group. But yet they all like and even those characters, you talk about character arcs and things, and as authors, we're always worried about, okay, did they change? How did they change? But even these side characters had arcs, I feel like. I mean, especially the the lady that ran the Edwardian experience,
Yes,
whatever. She had a total like change, and it was because of Katie, and how that you talk about the conversations and just that influence of these characters on each other and how that can change people within their story, and how then the reader can see that change, and maybe that helps a reader like understand something or see something they didn't see before. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I never thought about the idea of the local people, like hiring all the local. I mean, it made perfect sense, but it was not something I thought about, and how people would react to outside versus inside. And that was so cool. And I don't know, I thought all these little, like, it's a pretty big cast, really, of characters. I like big casts, so I'm a fan.
But it
Um,
didn't feel like it. It didn't feel overwhelming. It didn't feel like a
no,
big cast because it was very, it was the Edwardian, and then it was the townspeople, and it was Graham's family, which was, part of it too. But it didn't feel overwhelming like some
mm-hmm.
can.
that's good. You know,
Yeah.
you were saying something, Rebecca, about how the conversations impacted other people in small and big ways, and it just made me think about how we don't recognize our influence in our own sphere. The small things we say, the small things we do that have this snowball effect in somebody's lives, and that we won't know that till heaven. Whenever we find out how these small things that we think are small, these moments
Mhm.
of just a compassionate touch or word or encouragement or whatever the case may be, that God uses that to to make a bigger impact, and it does more than we can see on this side of eternity, and I think that's a good reminder for me as a Christian, that the small steps we take, the small decisions we make, that we hope will be a service, that we hope will be an encouragement, that they're not wasted, and that even other people who are looking in or listening into those conversations can be impacted by this too. Anyway, that was just a side conversation.
Oh,
I'm a big believer in that. In the small things can make a difference. Even a kind word or a smile, or telling the kid that's bagging your groceries to have a nice day. I see you. Hello, and thanks for your
Mm-hmm.
work. And that's a little thing, but you never know. Someone's having a day. It could mean everything and stuff. So
Exactly.
it's never a big deal to do small things or say be kind or
that's
anything.
a
So that's
that's
true.
a that's a really good reminder here at the beginning of the year, to maybe, to take that extra little time to just try to add that little thank you or that smile or whatever it may be that we're always rushing around. It's like, just slow down that tiny little bit. And then you just, like you said, who knows what kind of impact that could have. And if everybody did that, look at the snowball effect,
That's
right?
true. So true. Yeah,
Wow.
would it be a much kinder place around? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I love that there. I love Becky that you said that the cast wasn't too big that it felt overwhelming because I know when I was writing it, it was really important to me to not. I was having to deal with a lot of people in my head. Okay, so I was like, okay, how can I make this so that the reader is not okay? Who's that again? And where do they live? And what part? I wanted to make sure. Well, like you said, Rebecca, where they were kind of housed in their own little spots, except for the main people, and you
Hmm.
got to know them more. Like Mirren, I love Mirren. I would love to see her again in a story. I would love to see Graham's brother. I think he would be so fun to write. Yeah. Um, and I've set up some things for his story that I hope I get to write someday. But there were the intimate characters that we got more involved. We got to know a little bit better, like Lachlan, like Mirren, of course Graham and Katie, but I'm glad that it wasn't overwhelming. I'm glad that it was situated in such a way that you could digest them. And I love writing big casts. I'm from a big family. My extended family have always been really close. And so I think in big casts more like. And so that was great that it didn't come across as like a circus, except when it was supposed to come across like a circus.
Yeah, no, it didn't, and I didn't mean it to say. If anybody thought that's what I meant, it's not
No,
because
no, you
I
didn't.
totally loved it. And they were sort of all like compartmentalized enough that it was quite easy to keep track. But they're all so much, just like you just want to walk in and be part of each of their groups because they all were so fun. Um, what's your process, Pepper, as far as, do you, I guess it depends on the contracts, but like, do you tend to write like, um, or think about the historicals separately from the others, or do they all just kind of, just kind of get all those ideas kind of mixed in and
Let's see. The phrase "love the one you're with" kind of comes to mind. I think about stories at the same time. Like I could be thinking about one story and then it'll inspire a historical. Like for example, if I was thinking about a character in current times and something from their past impacted them, and then I'd be like, oh wait, I wonder what their grandfather was like. That would cause that. And so then it may not even, I may not write a story that relates to it at all, but it'll spark an idea. I'm highly influenced by things that I read and things that I watch. So if I'm watching a movie and I see a character that I really like, but I wish it had turned out differently for them, sometimes that will spin off an idea. Well, what if I placed a person like that here and then this happened? So that happens a lot with trying to brainstorm story ideas. Secret, it's not going to be so secret, but Jamie Jo Wright, if you guys have heard, she's writing a young adult book for trying to really bring out some more closed door, more appropriate reads for younger people who don't want to have to deal with the heat levels that are out there in a lot of young adult fiction, but also want it to be more contemporary instead of fantasy. Just like this could really happen to me. I might not meet a dragon, but I could meet that. I could do this. And so she dared me to write a young adult. And so I'm in the process of doing that for both of us are going to go indie with those. And so that will be talked about in January. So since it's January,
okay.
that's a new thing we're going to be seeing in the future, I hope.
Well, that sounds fun. I'm a fan of that as a teacher of young adults. I totally agree. I see things on their desks, books, and I'm like, oh, does your mother know you're reading that? Because I know what's in there, and
Well,
it's not, and
that,
it's just
yeah.
so yes. And I can I put a plug in for don't. I don't know how to say this exactly so that it sounds like I'm not, don't dumb it down
Yeah. Yeah.
because there are not enough high lexile young adult books for kids to read.
Hmm.
Because in my school, and I'm sure it's this way in other high schools, they're required to read a certain lexile level. They can't find books for that.
That's
All the
good to
books,
know. That's
so
good to know.
yeah, so don't make your sentences all simple and don't, if it's a word they might not know, it's okay. Tell your editor, tell your editor, it's okay. They'll figure it out. They need
Well,
to learn to use context clues and all of those things.
real life. Well, that's what inspired me so much to do this was that I was having these 13, 14, 15-year-old girls reading the Authentically Izzy, Loyally Luke, and some Like It Scot now. And they're like, thank you for writing these. This is what we've been looking for. And some of them were saying, could you write something that's more like our age? Because these people are in their late 20s, early 30s. Is there anything you could write that's near where we are in school? And so whenever I started hearing that over and over from this group of a large group of young teenage girls who are like, please give us something that we can read that will, encourage us to look for romance in the right way, but also meet us where we are. And so that's the plan. I'm in the early stages of it, and it's a new experience because I do want to still keep with that young adult vibe because they're wanting that.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking like, oh yeah, I wrote some really big words in that last chapter. Like feeling good about that.
Yes, no. I mean, because I have kids, the upper kids, especially, in the honors classes and things, they have nothing to read that they want to read. Nothing. So you and Jamie Joe go right ahead and use that vocabulary because and don't make all those sentences just like he said that she could go, whatever. Because literally that's how Lexiles determine and that's what they need. They need higher level, interesting books that are clean and closed door and kisses
Mhm.
only and all of those and just that show good relationships
Mm-hmm.
in all friendships as well as, romantic relationships because there's just not a lot. There's just not a lot.
Yeah, let's get to know. So anyway, that was a side topic.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's get back.
Okay, that was very
Can we
close to
send this
my
to the?
heart.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's getting on her teacher soapbox, which is good. I say that lovingly because I feel like okay, we need to send this to publishers. Are they paying attention to what
Yeah.
Rebecca is seeing and Pepper? You and Jamie Joe are challenging each other, so there's something there that some of the authors are seeing, and so
Yeah.
I think it's great. Um,
We'll see
so.
what happens. I mean, it's certainly been an eye-opening experience for me and a joy to get these emails and to get these texts and to get these messages from this group. I mean, seriously, 13, 14 up to 18
Mm-hmm.
girls just messaging me saying, "Thank you for writing this. I've been looking for something like this." And I'm not saying that I'm all that because it's not me, but that fits them, that
Yeah.
type of style. And there are other books out there. I mean, you're looking at Courtney Walsh does that style, and they really enjoy her stuff. And so you have that style that they're looking for that's really relating to them. And I have girls that age. I want to
Mhm.
make sure, they have stuff. Now they read, they read stuff like Lord of the Rings and Frankenstein, but but they also, I think about them and what I want to be available for them to read too. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
No, that's great.
Actually, it's great. I read Frankenstein a couple of years ago for the first time, and it's so different from Boris Karloff and the movies
Yes.
and
Yes.
stuff. It's a unique book. I think people should read it. Actually, I found it interesting. Okay, another side note. We are just all over the place today, but have fun.
One of
Yeah,
my
no.
favorite classics, Frankenstein and Dracula, are two of my favorite classics. They're fantastically done. Anyway, yes,
Yes.
Yes.
back to
Back
funny book.
to uh, I don't even know what to
So
say. Go ahead.
You mentioned briefly, hopefully you get to write about Graham's brother as far as something like It Scot. Is that noodling back there? Or do you have other contracts you're having to fulfill or
Um,
other stuff that's
it's
just.
noodling. It's definitely noodling. And then there are conversations happening around those types of things. So I'm hoping within the new year, I'll be able to share a little bit about projects in the future. But that one is definitely a conversational one because so many people have enjoyed Some Like It Scot, and I loved getting to bring people with me to Scotland for that book. I would love to investigate more about that family and about what, I have ideas that are really
Yeah.
funny that I
There's a
would love.
lot of history there to look at. I mean, you've set it up really well. There's a lot of things that were mentioned that we don't know anything about.
Right.
So,
And,
yeah.
and if we get to do that, we would probably get to go to other places in Scotland to tour. And that's really exciting to me. Not physically go there, but as
Right.
readers, we
Oh,
get
I
to
mean,
travel.
we
I mean,
could,
I
I
want to
suppose.
physically go there too, but as readers, we get to travel to not just the Isle of Mull because we were really stuck on the Isle of Mull, not in a bad way. It's beautiful, but
Yeah.
also there are other places that would fit the brothers' writing that we would get to travel to if his story gets to come out. So I'm hoping I would love to write it because he is a lovely flirt. And he would be fun. I mean, he's very different than his brother, right? Second born son, firstborn son. You have those personalities of the more serious, focused, Graham. And then you have his brother who's like, hey. So I'm really curious what he would look like as a romantic partner.
Oh, that would be interesting. You'd have to have really the heroine in that would have to be a specific type of person to be able
Yeah.
to, yeah. Yeah.
Yep, she would. I'm not quite sure who she is yet, but I'm praying God helps me figure it out if I get to write it.
Right. Okay.
That would be fun. All right. So you've mentioned the young adult that you're talking about with Jamie Joe, which we'll hear more announcements about that as we go along here.
Yes.
Anything else coming down the pike? I know you just finished some contracts or some books and
Yes.
doing
Yes.
things.
Turned in book 31. I turned in book 31 last week. So yes, praise God. I'm so thankful. So we have in May a Brood Awakening coming out, which it actually takes place here in the U.S., not only in the U.S. And so we have the little town of Wisteria, North Carolina, and a kind of like a dueling shop owners thing. We have my tea shop owner, Daphne, who is shocked and surprised to have this new business move in. He's a British guy, he's English, and he's opening up a pub in the town. And so it's this whole enemies to more. There's a lot of I guess a Pride and Prejudice vibe a little bit, but there's also the Great British Bake Off going on. So a lot of food talk. There's a lot of food talk in this, and I am so excited about it. One of the things that I really enjoyed, and I didn't think I would enjoy it, was and it's not a spoiler because you'll find out in the blurb, but at the end of the story, there's a tragedy, a natural disaster that happens in the town. And so I took the experience that my family and I had during Hurricane Helene in Asheville, and you get that. I tried to describe it in a way where a reader could feel it. It was very difficult in a lot of ways, but also interesting to try to take that and put it into words. So there's that element that's coming out in that book. It's a romantic comedy still, but it's really important that aspect happens in the story because the book is all about community. There's a really big sense of community and belonging, and that really kind of wrapped it all together. I had no intention of putting that in the story at all, and I was about halfway through, and I called my editor and I said, listen, this would really bring this story together because this book is about community, and I think we need to see community in action. And so she was like, go for it. So I think it turned out I think it turned out really well. We'll find out what people think. So there's that. We have the last, the fifth and final Freddie and Grace book coming out in July, The Bachelor Spy. I know. I want to leave people wanting more. It's not, I don't like it whenever people drag on a series, especially movie series or TV series, and you were finished 3 episodes ago or 2 seasons ago. And I still have good stories for them, but I think I need to stop for now. And I'm really thankful. I love the last book. So it's a really good full circle kind of thing. So it comes out in July. And then we have my second Regency book that comes out in October, Pride and Practicality. So it will be coming out then. And I have nothing else to share yet about what's happening after that. But I'm going to try to get the young adult out by the end of February, early March. So.
Okay.
All right. So young adult, end of February, early March. You've got A Rude Awakening coming out in May, which is contemporary. Here we go with your contemporary historical. The Bachelor Spy in July, which is historical because it's Freddie and Grace, whom we love. And then Pride and Practicality that go along with Sense and Suitability and all your fun stuff in October. Your mind. I don't know. It might be fun to live inside her brain, Rebecca, but it might be scary. I love you, Pepper.
Very well be scary. My boss, I work at a mental health clinic as a speech pathologist, and my boss often says that I'm diagnosable because I talk to people no one else can see, and there are a lot of them. I know you say that lovingly. I know how to manage my difficulties, okay?
Well, it sounds like 2026 is going to be quite a year for you.
Yes.
And we'll give people your web address and social media so they can keep up with you, newsletter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. Yes, would love it. I love engaging with readers and other authors. I am so grateful we have the community that we have. It's amazing. So you can find out more about my books on my website, pepperdbasham.com. And I am pretty active on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram more than Facebook, but I'm still active on both. So please follow me on both. Reach out. I love engaging. And yes, I've signed up for my newsletter. Whenever I can be more consistent, I'll make people happier too at getting out newsletters. But I do send them. So
sounds like your writing has been getting in the way of the newsletter just a tad.
And life,
like you've been,
we moved.
Yeah, life.
So, y'all did move. So you're writing in a new space now too, right?
I have an office for the first time. I have never had a home office. And so I've always written out in the middle of the kitchen. And this is the first time I am so excited. It's really cute.
Oh, yep. Oh, no.
Oh.
Nope. Well.
Harry went off again. But anyway, it's really cute. And I've never had that. And so I'm very excited.
Well, we're excited for you too, because I know it's just nice to be able to put all your stuff out and not have to put it away.
Exactly. So people can eat on the table.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I have that problem sometimes, but yeah. Well, we are so grateful that you were able to come on and chat with us about some Like It Scot. And we wish you all the best, all the readers for your other books as they come out. And like I said, have fun with that young adult, and we're excited to see what happens with that. So
thank you. And please do pray about that, because I really see that as a ministry, and I want to give that group of readers something they're looking for. So
yes, we will do that.
That's good. All right. Next month, what are we talking to? Beth Sturry? I haven't asked her yet how to pronounce her name. And she has a series of books out, and we're going back to the first book in the series. And unfortunately, the name is escaping me.
Before I Knew You. Before I knew you. This is young adult.
It is young adult, speaking of. So we are
Yeah, lots of good stuff in those too about choices and how those
Mhm.
matter. So, yes, very
So
important.
hope
Um,
you join us for that. And then we've got Book Bites, our new feature where we have these brief 10-minute conversations. Today, we couldn't have done a book bite with you, Pepper, because we have too much fun talking to you. We got to do
right.
lots more
Southern,
with you.
long-winded. I got it. I'm here.
We love it, but with Book Bites, so stay tuned. We just rolled it out this month, and we are looking forward to having these brief conversations.
Yes,
Good little bite.
and in the meantime, so we're going to be coming to you every Wednesday now with one or the other, the long version, the short version, whichever. So make sure that you like and subscribe, and you can find all those places to find us on our website at rebeccaandrebecca.com.
Mhm.
Thank you all.
Well, Pepper, thank you, and thanks everyone for your support these as we go into year 5. And we're wishing everyone wonderful things for 2026, and we hope you'll come along for the ride. We'll see you next time.
Bye.